Hello and welcome to a 5-minute Bible study. I'm Carl Santos, pastor at New City Church in Calgary. Let's jump right into this long piece of scripture. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 1 to 8. Let me read it because it's long, but it is poetry. So let's read it. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars are darkened and the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house tremble, and the strong men are bent, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those who look through the windows are dimmed, and the doors on the street are shut. When the sound of grinding is low, one rises up at the sound of a bird, and all the daughters of song are brought low. They are afraid also of what is high, and terror is in the way. The almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper drags itself along, and desire fails, because man is going to his eternal home, and the mourners go about the streets. Before the silver cord is snapped, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher is shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern, and the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, all is vanity. Now, let's jump right into this. So what you're seeing here, okay, is poetry. The writer is telling us, when you're young, in the days of your youth, remember God before the evil days come. Okay? So what he's saying is while you're young, remember God, pray, build community, increase your faith, read your scriptures, memorize them. And the reason is because when the trouble comes, and here specifically he's seeing old age, before the scars of old age come upon you, be prepared. So spend your youth digging into God and pressing into Him so that you'll be ready for old age. And he does not look at old age as very positive. Let's look at it. Again, it's all poetry here. So he's saying here, before the sun and the lights of the moon and so on, the stars darken, the clouds return. He's depicting old age as a storm. Okay, a storm that will ravage the body. Now look at it. This is wonderful poetry. In the days when the keepers of the house tremble, these are hands. Okay. Hands trembling. When the strong men are bent, meaning the legs are the strong men, okay, and they start to bend. When the grinders, the teeth, cease because they are few, your teeth are falling out as you age. And those who look through the windows are dimmed. Those are eyes. Okay, you're going to start being able to pick these things up on your own without me telling you. And then he goes into, where's next here? The doors of the street are shut. Let me change colors just so we keep things fresh here. These are ears. Okay, the ears. You stop hearing. When the sound of grinding is low and one rises up at the sound of a bird. Here, the sound of grinding means work. Okay, grinding like a mill. You're working less as you age, and you sleep less. It's funny. He captures old age beautifully. That you, ironically, though you go deaf, you sleep much lighter. And all the daughters of song are brought low. You hear less. Life is less full of joy. He's depicting it as, and they are afraid also of what is high. Terror is in the way. This is maybe this is not politically correct to say today, but what he's saying is, as you get older, you actually grow more paranoid and more afraid. You're afraid of heights. You're afraid of terrors in the way. I think of my grandparents and things who are afraid to drive in the at night. And it's true. I'm sorry. Then he goes on. The almond tree blossoms. Almond trees blossoms are white. So he's talking about hair, getting older, age again. Then he talks about the grasshopper drags itself along. That's work. The grasshopper is industrious, but dragging himself along, not working the way he used to. Desire fails. You lose the vitality and zest, joie de vivre, he would say, maybe, because man is on his way, going to his eternal home, and the mourners are about the streets, meaning it's time. The death knell is about to ring. And before here, he's going to talk about valuable things. Okay, so the silver cord, the golden bowl, the pitcher that is shattered at a fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. I mean, that's the wheel that you would use to draw water from a cistern or a well. These things are valuable and they're breaking. And this is his metaphor for life. Life is valuable and it's going to break. It's going to shatter. It's just as finite as these creations: the bowl, the cord, wheel, and pitcher. And the somber look of, and the dust will return to the dust as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. And classic Solomon, vanity of vanity. It's all meaningless. Ecclesiastes is a great book for the skeptic today because it's written from the perspective of somebody who's a little sour. And that's why you have to see Ecclesiastes in where it sits within the rest of the wisdom literature to get an idea of what they're saying, what the Bible is talking about. So you have to add the optimism of Proverbs with the Psalms and with Job's pessimism and suffering view and Ecclesiastes. When you look at them all together, you begin to see what biblical wisdom is about. Okay, and that is what Ecclesiastes 12:1-8 is all about.